Hi, this is Data Mining CSCI-96 Section 1. I am Thomas Nelson, and this is Case 3, Betting Bath and Yonder, BBY, which pertains to EDA and propensity models to help us predict household spending among prospects. 15,000 households attributes and their corresponding BBY spending habits were used to build models which were evaluated based on RMSE. We also use MAPE just to further tweak the models. The expected outcome is to predict household spending on the prospect's household data. We work through the SEMA process, where we examine and modify the data, which was already sampled for us thanks to the CSVs. We created models with the training and test data included. Then we predicted the household spending among the prospects. Finally, we're here to share the findings with you. We'll start by determining the quality of the historical data. First, we want to see what is contained and what is missing. The data seems to be populated at first glance. 99.9% of the data is present. Characters make up 89% of the data. Integers are 6% and 3% of the total NAs. Doubles are 5% and 1% of the total NAs. We also support correlations to help determine fields to view and place together for plotting and potential model formulas. A strong correlation is determined between estimated home value or home purchase price and the store visit frequency. There's also a light correlation between education year and store visit frequency. So let's determine the most popular states for BBY. The top 5 are Texas with 737, California with 696, Montana with 592, Alabama with 500, and Pennsylvania with 492. The most popular cities are Lake Magdalene, Florida with 51, Dover, Massachusetts with 31, Pikesville, Maryland with 29, Hawkinson, Delaware with 26, and Morgan, New Jersey with 26. Now, what makes this very interesting is that the most popular cities are not in the most popular states. The East Coast seems to contain the most popular cities, where the West contains the most popular states, which could be further drilled into for further target marketing or even future products based on those climates. What did we clean? We cleaned a lot. Over half the variables were removed due to unknowns. The data was filled, but with a lot of useless data. Items that contain greater than or equal to 60% unknown data were removed since there isn't enough data to train an accurate model. Items that were role-specific, such as IDs and phone numbers, were listed under noise and were removed. Items that were religious, ethnic, or voting for, such as political parties, were removed due to ethics. The propensity model determines the rules to determine the future probability of spending, such as our user profiles is what we're getting at. We use 3 kinds of models. We use the random forest, linear model, and a general linear model. The random forest helps us programmatically determine the most important variables, which help us determine which should be cleaned. The linear model helps us determine how to visibly update our model accuracy with the modified formulas. GLM helped me work through more of the variables to make them more meaningful, such as removing likely or most items on the text, so we had a most likely or more likely to have children that combined to just have children, so it just made more sense. The models were compared in RSME as requested and made to remove some what might have been affected by outliers. We reduced overfitting with the use of determining variable importance. The initial variables contain dwelling unit size, cities, counties, computer owner, latitude, state FIPS, and land value. The most significant changes is that the model determined that the city, dwelling size, county, and computer ownership are the most important variables. We determined that locations and house size defines the spending rates. As you can see, the computer owner was actually moved to number 10, and the rest of the most important prospect variable data is actually just location and size of the dwelling. The random forest in both models can be seen the drop around the 150 actuals area, which is here and here. The random forest initial run of 3 trees follows a lower actual, but has a negative 300 residual error. Moving to 500 trees, the curve is much more prominent and reduces the residual errors to negative 200. Also, we can see that the grouping of the marks are much more compact than the initial run. The linear model. The original model formula was with the treated variable in blue. It was not close to the county in any aspect. The fit2 in the green uses the top 9 important variables, which made us use much closer to the target. So basically, we dropped the using computer user. Fit3 in the yellow, the county was removed as well. Now, Fit4, longitude, latitude, and presence of children, which were added, which was interesting because it shows a slightly better connection long term moving upwards towards the line that we see. Unfortunately, the general linear model GLM did not yield any results for us. However, it did give us the ability to support better variable concreteness. We did try. Unfortunately, it just didn't pan out. The training and test results are included with both RSMA and MAPE. I used MAPE as well since it is less affected by outliers, which made the linear model challenging to determine. The linear model was difficult to determine since the RSMA between training and test is roughly 36 points difference. MAPE is roughly 18 points difference. This seemed inconsistent based on the spread between train and test, which is hard to justify as a strong model. The random forest was consistent with the close RSMA between train and test data, which was roughly 4 points RSMA and a difference of roughly 3 points difference with MAPE. 500 trees was chosen since the RSMA is extremely close to the 100 trees, but the MAPE is slightly better. And again, the GLM did not yield us any results. Now, the historical data is primarily single family and which spends the most. Unknown spends more than a single family home. Now, in the perspective data, we see that the primary spender is a single family and the unknown is slightly over 100. This gives us a clearer depiction of the user profiles needed. In the historical data, we see that the education is a single plateau where bachelors spend the most and then community, then high school graduates, and then masters. In the prospect data, we can see 2 separate spending groups of households that spend roughly 150 and the others over 700. The majority are bachelors in both cases. The historical home purchase price shows that the median is between roughly 300 per house across all housing costs. However, looking at the perspective data, we can see a downward slope at roughly 300K. It shows that if we market it towards a more expensive market, they would likely spend less. Houses over 400K houses under 400K seem to be your dominant customers. In historical sales per state, we can see strong housing sales from roughly 250 to 450. In the perspective plot, we can see that roughly 250 to 310 are our strongest sales. We have a much tighter knit target than before. Now, the takeaway is that we used the 500 tree forest, which was selected due to its RSMA and MAPE scores. The highest stats based on location is Texas. We want bachelor's degrees, a house that costs roughly less than 400K, and a dwelling size of a single family. The prediction determined that 2,516 homes will spend 250 to 300, and then 3,476 homes will spend between 300 and 315. Thank you for attending. I am Tom Nelson. Please let me know if you have any further questions. It's great speaking with you, and I appreciate you very much. And sit down. It's okay. You don't have to clap. I appreciate it. I know this is the last one of the year. We can do more next year. It's okay.